Yeah, I don't want to go to jail for anything. I'm much too, weak.
And you're pretty. You are listening to the Stand Up Dads podcast.
This is hecka boring.
Yeah, it is.
Let's try again.
Okay. Too bad I wasn't recording.
Yeah. Oh, you weren't recording?
Okay. Mike is abusing his cat, and I don't have the proof to give to SPCA.
Oh, yeah, this is abuse. She has to have her own chair right up to where we're recording so she can be part of the record.
This is our first time recording live in over a year.
Yes. Yay. We're fully vaccinated.
Fully vaccinated, and we have our live studio audience of one cat who's grown like fucking crazy since we last saw her.
She's put on some COVID pounds.
She has.
Oh, and she's upset about us talking about her. But she's very happy. She loves these recordings like this.
I know. I miss it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I've already forgotten how to do this. You're listening to Stand Up Dads. This is Rob.
And Mike.
And we're back. We're live. I feel so much better about it. Now I get to watch Mike cough into things. Hot.
Hack into stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've got a new toy. I've got the Zoom PodTrack P8, which this is our first time using it. So if it sounds like shit.
It's super cool.
Yeah, I like it. So new toy. I know for 99% of you guys out there, you're like, don't really give a shit. But I do remember the last time I had new equipment, I screwed it up. That was the Jay Wuck episode. I think it was like episode 6.
Oh,
and the audio was just garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we're back doing it live. I am freaking happy. Nick is jealous.
Oh, yeah? Does he want this thing?
No, it's not. He just wants to record live. He's tired of it.
Did he get his
quality.
shots yet?
Yeah, but no, he's talking about for gag.
Oh, I was going to say, we could have him on again.
It's just the guests and stuff.
Yeah.
We've booked up like a couple months out, and they're not local.
Yeah, so you can't do that, yeah.
Pretty much, but
yeah.
We'll talk about gag on this later. Although we did talk about Nick. Nick sent me an article about a teacher in the UK that got banned from teaching because of his behavior on a field trip.
Oh, okay, so not a Zoom call. This is on a field trip? They actually were going... Is it an older one? Or?
Yeah, well, it just made the news a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
But apparently, so this guy's from England.
Okay.
And he took a school trip to Costa Rica in July of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think the furthest we ever went for a school trip was, Yosemite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd they manage that?
It's a private school.
Okay.
Richard Glenn is the name of the teacher. He's 55. He admitted gross misconduct and was dismissed in August of 2019. It says the school costs up to £4,800 a term for day pupils.
Wow.
So that's like $6,000-7,000. And I'm assuming a term would be like a semester.
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy taught computer science. He was one of the leaders of this group that took a bunch of 16 to 18-year-olds to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
On the 5th of July, 2019.
Okay.
He was supposed to be there till the 28th of July, but after 6 days, he was sent home by the expedition's leader due to his behavior.
Oh, no. What was he doing?
Okay. His actions included, and they got it all bullets. 1, drinking with pupils.
Oh, no.
2, allowing 1 or more pupils to drink alcohol despite being under the legal age of 18.
Oh.
This is UK, so it's 18 there.
Yeah.
Threatening to, and I quote, kick the head in of 1 pupil and kill another.
Oh, my God.
Telling 1 pupil, I'm not in trouble, you'll be in trouble.
Wow.
After being aggressive to 1 pupil, he kissed the boy's forehead and told him, you're all right.
You're all right.
Taking 1 or more pupils to a strip club.
Oh, my God, man. He went for the home run of... I'm going down in flames.
Yep. Acting aggressively towards the woman leading the trip when she tried to help him back to his tent.
Oh, no.
And finally, this is bad, exposing himself to the woman in a shared hotel room.
Oh, my God.
Although it was agreed that it was not malicious or sexually motivated. So here's what cracks me up, though.
Oh, so does that mean he was passed out and she woke up and he was naked?
Or he was changing his clothes or just wasn't.
Probably was drunk and like... Oh, someone's in here.
Yeah. He is claiming that he could not remember what happened due to his state of intoxication, but did not dispute the recollection of those present.
Yeah. He's like,
so now,
sounds like something I've done. That's probably what he's thinking.
Yep.
Doesn't sound out of the ordinary.
So if this were to happen here, what do you think would happen to the guy?
They'd probably let him go. You would think that the hope would be in this case, if no one was hurt, maybe they'd try to get him some help. He's obviously an alcoholic.
Well, you're taking it a lot. So if your
but
kid was on this trip,
I'd be furious.
Exactly.
No, I'd be furious.
Well, in the UK, they just suspended him from teaching for 3 years.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, no.
No jail time, no nothing.
I think you'd be unable to teach again here. But the weird thing with here is like, I don't know how it works. It may be like, because it's so like split up by states.
Yeah.
He could be banned, but it might just be you can't teach in California ever again.
That's probably how it goes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a problem where they could be, I don't know if that would prevent them from just going and getting a job in Nevada or something, or
it's true.
Go to the next door over,
That's true. And more strip clubs there.
That's crazy. And strip clubs.
So thank you, Nick from Gag on This for that article. For that article, which gave us today's topic, we're going to talk about the importance of field trips.
Well, yeah.
Because I know it's practically May, and, with COVID, there's no field trips going on. But, I was doing a little bit of reading about it, and it turns out, we really should lean on the schools to bring them back.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be way too easy to be like, we haven't had field trips. We're just not going to.
And the problem with it, like, I only taught 1 year in person.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest has been online. But even in the in-person one, the hurdles were the cost, because basically they have to be able to cover, at least when it's the public school, they have to be able to cover if, say, no students can pay any of their way,
Yeah.
So you got to be creative with that, the cost of the, the bus and all that. I think that limits some teachers from even trying to do it. It took some work to get it done. I picked the Walt Disney Museum because the Family Museum in San Francisco makes it where it's free admission for students, which is rare.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that may be discounted, but that makes it right out the gate a lot easier, because now we're just trying to cover, the bus and stuff like that. And then if they bring their lunch. The thing I ran into was one teacher actually came to me and was like, I had this, so you're having a field trip, and I don't think they really can't miss 1 day of my class. And I was like, wait, what? Like,
wow.
Wait, 1 day of your class? And they're like, yes, it'll put them farther behind. I'm like, but the thing is, it's like, you don't get to choose if the kid goes or not. The parents choose.
Yeah.
Like, so don't care. To like, it's like, it's just one of those things where it was shocking to me. It's like, I'm like, because he was like, this has nothing to do with, I'm like, this has everything to do with my class that we're throwing. My class is animation. And I'm like, I would argue that any museum is enrichment, and the fact that, and you can't convince people who don't think these things are important and all they think about is being there for the academics and taking a test. What it did for my class is it, beyond that, had been kind of little factions of friends. After that trip, because we took a bus up there. On the way back, like an elementary school bus broke down, so we had to go back. We got all these like fourth graders on the bus with us, and then they were supposed to walk across the Golden Gate Bridge, so we went with them and did that. We didn't get back till like 8 o'clock.
Nice.
Those kids, from that point on, the whole class was like a one unit of all friends.
That's cool.
And it was this thing they would always talk about and just remember, and that, I think that's what I remember when I think back, is either, field trips or special occasion stuff, more than like, well, thank God I made that test.
Yeah.
In
I
science
those
class,
kids remember that more than a pop quiz.
Yeah.
Even when field trips go wrong, sometimes you still get a lot of good out of it.
Yes.
Like, we've talked about it on here before. Our 8th grade class did a Yosemite trip.
Yeah.
And on the way back, our bus had a flat over, and we had to stay at the Winking Lantern motel. And we were like 8 to a room.
Yeah.
And I was, I don't think I ever stopped being, but I was kind of a nerd back then and wasn't popular and all that. But that was one of the first times in my life I felt included on something.
Oh,
and, everyone was closer as a class because of that big
totally.
screw-up.
Yeah.
And these are kids that have been together for 8 years.
Yes.
For the most part.
Because you don't get the opportunity to do that like a field trip can give.
To the idiot teacher that told you the kids can't afford to miss a day of his class.
Yeah, and I'm the worst one to tell someone that too, because I know I was like, and he was like,
you're just an art teacher.
But my face just says, like, oh, tell me more. Please explain. And right away, he's like, I'm going to continue, but I know by your face, you think I'm full of shit.
Yes.
I'm like, no, but please, I want to hear all of the reason why your class is so important. I'm like
I don't
boring.
think you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit.
Boring.
Well, I did find an article called The Educational Value of Field Trips.
Oh, nice.
And it's a long article, but I'm going to post a link to it. It is very interesting, but it found that taking students to an art museum improves critical thinking skills and more. It is no secret that culturally enriching field trips are in decline.
Yeah.
A survey that they did of the American Association of School Administrators found that more than half of schools eliminated planned field trips in 2010, 2011.
That's
kind of big.
Yeah, it's like the next thing that's seems to have gotten cut after
like
art and music.
Yep.
And then you just get these kind of lame fill-in stuff.
And they talk about some schools believe that students' time would be better spent in classrooms preparing for exams. And I hate the whole teach to the test thing because the kid gets nothing out of it.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody even goes and reads the wording on some of them, because some of the stuff I've looked at it.
Some of them what?
Well, it's just some of the way they'll word the questions.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look at it and be like, this kind of doesn't make sense. And I'm an adult looking at what this test says.
You're just special. And then the other trend that's kind of disturbing is instead of like field trips that are educational, they're sending them to like amusement parks, sporting events, and theaters instead of museums and historical sites.
Well, theaters, it depends. Are you talking a movie?
Theaters.
Yeah, movie
is
not the same as like if you're seeing live theater or a musical.
No, I totally,
that would be amazing.
I remember we saw the Nutcracker when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
amazing.
Make any sense to me at all, but
yeah.
Also, I didn't speak the damn language, but there was no speaking in it.
This is a nightmare. It's so weird because Olivia loved the Nutcracker as a kid. Loved it.
The Night Stalker.
And I really didn't like it as a kid, and even now I go
I still don't like it.
Oh, I'm like it. Please have some funny songs.
I like Tchaikovsky, but
but for her, she really got the. She would like dance while she watched it. She got it where I'm like, I'm so lowbrow even when I was little. It was like, oh, when's it going to be? Where's the funny stuff?
Someone drop someone.
Yeah, do somebody needs to get hurt.
Oh, man. You could do a total body slam out of that move.
I need some clever wordplay. This is horrible.
Well, anyway, pretty much there's been a shift from enrichment to reward for field trips. So that's how schools are looking at it now. Instead of this is a learning opportunity to, these kids deserve something good.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Like Oli did one right before it got closed down for the pandemic. They did one to the Maidu like Native American Museum over here. That was hella cool.
Yeah.
Like I went with her and I was like, oh my God, they're showing how they made, how they made things, how they made their tools and their baskets. And it was also hilarious because the poor little lady that was running it only kept asking questions like, why do the women got to stay and cook? Why can't they go hunt? And she'd be like, oh dear, like it's just how it was. And always like, I don't like it. But it was super cool, and they gave him a little, the little arrowhead.
Yeah.
After, I mean, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, friggin', she had it in the back of her car. She finally brought it in, but for like a year, she'd be like back there with that, got my own, like cool.
Yeah. Well, and they found that enriching field trips contribute to the development of students into civilized young men and women.
Yeah.
Who possess more knowledge about art, have stronger critical thinking skills, and exhibit increased historical empathy, display higher levels of tolerance, and have a greater taste for consuming art and culture. So I guess field trips make liberals.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I could see why some people are against it.
Yeah. It opens your mind for sure if they pick good ones. Yeah.
I mean, there's like this Mark Twain quote, something about nothing opens your mind like travel.
Yes.
Seeing how other people live.
Yes.
So in 2011, the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Northwest Arkansas, of all places, created a study. And what they found was the kids remembered what they saw. I mean, to a point where...
Yeah, they paid attention. They were in tune,
So like 88% of the kids that saw, and I don't know what this painting is, but the Eastman Johnson painting called At the Camp, knew when surveyed weeks later that the painting depicts abolitionists making maple syrup to undermine the sugar industry, which relied on slave labor.
Wow.
So from an art thing, you get a history lesson.
Yep.
82% remembered Norman Rockwell's Rosie the Riveter and what that meant. 79% recalled Plowing It Under, which was Thomas Hart Benton's picture of a farmer plowing his field, covering up his fields because of the Depression. Just all sorts of stuff they probably didn't even realize happened, but it's like, oh, this actually means something.
From the painting I saw, now I know about this historical thing. That's awesome.
And they, and they had control groups that didn't go to this museum that, went through the same tests. The kids that went through the field trips at this museum displayed demonstrably stronger ability to think critically about art than the control group. And they also found that rural students, I can never say that right, in towns with fewer than 10,000 people, and minority kids had a huge increase in critical thinking skills, more than the rest of the kids.
Wow.
So, because they're not usually exposed to stuff, because it's just a small town.
Yeah.
Students who went on the tour became more observant, noticing and describing more details in an image. So just look at this picture. What do you see? These kids were able to pick it out better. There's the historical empathy, which is the ability to understand and appreciate what life was like for people who lived at a different time and place, like the Depression.
Yeah.
Or like they were talking about with the, God damn it, abolitionists. Guys.
Yeah.
And also, finally, with critical thinking, kids that went through all this had a much higher degree of tolerance.
That's cool.
To be like, not freaked out by, well, that's fucking weird. I don't get it.
Yes.
So, anyway, it's a really interesting read.
Yeah.
I would love to sit here, but I don't think you guys would want to hear it.
Yeah,
Definitely check it out. But then I was thinking about the trips we took, growing up.
Yeah.
Like Kim I asked her about it, and she vividly remembers going to the tide pools over at Moss Beach.
Wow.
And for her, it's a bigger deal because she grew up here at Sacramento area. There's no ocean there.
Yeah.
I remember, like I said, I did the Nutcracker, which was my first exposure to fine arts.
Yeah.
I remember we had a classmate named Tony Barba, and her family had miniature horses.
I remember that trip. That was a big deal.
And that was when I first
actually took a camera. I think.
Oh, did you?
I think so. I don't know if it was a disposable or what, but I remember.
I don't think they had disposables then.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was
when they had the flash cubes.
Yeah, I actually got to borrow a camera. I'm pretty sure. I remember I had some pictures.
And that's when I learned that you can't say midget about a horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, someone said, no, it's miniature.
Yeah.
I remember doing the Mother's Cookies tour.
That was amazing. I love that one. The chocolate shortbread ones were the ones that I was like, amazing. That's how they do it. Like, so cool. Yeah.
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 And, being a little fat kid, I loved that they gave you cookies at
yes. The end. And you could pick the ones. I was like, I want those shortbread.
And I think because of those field trips, that show, How It's Made.
Yeah.
If I see it on, I have a real hard time turning it off.
Yeah.
So I really hate it when they have like a marathon of those because I'm doing nothing today.
We got some good ones in Hayward for that.
We did Granny Goose. Remember the chips?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they still exist in Kansas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We went to Fairyland as a little.
That one I don't remember going to Fairyland at all.
I remember it because I was so jealous of the people that had the key to turn to make it talk.
Oh, I'm sure I didn't have that key.
You remember going to the Oakland Zoo?
That I don't remember. What year was these?
This is early.
Yeah.
But I do remember later on I was reading that, I put 2 and 2 together. At the time, the Oakland Zoo was rated one of the 10 worst zoos in the country.
Wow.
So, yay. We went to Shasta's factory.
That I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got I
think I picked root beer as the one I got at the end. That was a good one. I love those ones watching how they make the stuff is so cool.
And then we talked about the Yosemite trip. Like I said, the best thing that happened there, well, 2 things. One, our teacher and the priest that went along with us got shit-faced drunk. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember it, no.
Oh my God, we were all in our tents, and they were so loud, those 2. You don't remember that?
I don't remember.
Holy shit. Anyone that was on that 8th grade trip back in 86, if you remember I won't say his name.
Yeah,
well, it's pretty generic. Father Bob and the teacher that won't be named at the moment, they were shit-faced drunk and loud, and we were laughing because we thought it was funny.
I can't remember so much.
And then in high school, there was the one, it's like way more organized. I never got to go on this, but I think it was called Close Up, when kids would go to D.C. to see how the government worked.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. I mean, that's got to be a huge learning experience. You mentioned earlier about the retreats.
Oh, yeah. The retreats were really cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not your traditional, we went to Catholic school. So, but it was just a place where you could be vulnerable around each other.
And you learned more because you were able to be vulnerable, you learned more about each other, and it really, it changed relationships with other people totally, because you'd be like, oh my God, they go through that? Like, oh man.
It's like there's the cool kid who's kind of a dick, and then you realize, oh, his life sucks.
Yeah.
And then the scary nerd kid, hey, that kid's actually pretty cool. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned going to the Mint.
The Mint. I love that one. I still have coins from that one.
Do you?
Yeah, because I guess you could buy, and they made, remember, like little limited ones, or like ones that they had that they'd make. I gotta go find them. I loved that one. Watching them go like and make them was just like I could work here.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
I remember in high school. Again, this was partly because I went to a Catholic school and was part of the youth group. There was a program called Splunge, SPLUNGE, where they. Pretty much a group of us got taken down to Oakland. We were dropped off at a Greyhound station. They gave us an envelope that had like $3. Said, okay, figure out where you're going to stay tonight. What? And then they left us by some payphones at a Greyhound station. Said, okay, start making some calls and figure out where you're going to stay. And the whole thing was a setup to be like, realize what it would be like to be homeless, or realize you just got kicked out and you got nowhere to go. We were like, ha, very funny. Like, okay, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Wow.
And we're like, what the fuck? And then...
But they were like watching still? And you didn't know? Oh, man, what a good trick.
And then we ended up staying in a gym, like on cots and stuff. And then the next day we would go out to pretty much just inner city and see Oakland.
Wow.
And we saw some stuff you wouldn't normally see. You go to these little shopkeepers. Like there was a locksmith that had been there for like 30 years. And
wow.
Just telling stories about what it was like. Yeah, we've had our shop broken into, but, there's really good people. And then we did there's a woman named Mother Wright, who must have been in her 80s back then.
Yeah.
That would do free meals in Jefferson Park. Fuck, I can still remember that.
Wow.
For homeless people.
Wow.
And we were part of the crew
wow.
That day.
You went and helped.
Volunteered. And so anyway, just stuff like that. And the fact that you, who cannot remember a goddamn thing, can still remember most of these field trips.
Yeah.
It's just right there. There's a testament to the power of a field trip.
I cannot remember so much, and I will remember a lot of those ones, or just special days like that. Exactly. I'll remember.
Do not let your schools say, "Oh, we haven't had field trips. We'll be fine without them."
Yeah.
Lean on your, if you're in a PTO, start going, "Hey, I know we've had a lockdown, but we got to get back into the swing of this and get these kids exposed to things."
Yeah, and it can make you like even. it wasn't a field trip that was planned, but when my sister came and took me out of school and we went to the A's game.
Oh, yeah.
And I was not, I liked going to baseball, but I'm not a huge baseball fan at all. But that changes. Every time I go to one, it makes me think of like the feeling of getting to go like that and then being there, and was like, I don't know, there's just something with the field trips that's also the idea of getting out of school to go do something, and I don't know, it makes you appreciate it more. Like,
Totally.
Going on your own to the baseball game, I probably would have been like, whatever, but going that day was like, wow, like, oh, now I'm all remembering it. I remember the whole game,
So, yeah, I mean, it may seem odd to do a field trip episode towards the end of the year, but now is the time to start putting it in the ear of the administrators. Hey, we need to bring this shit back.
Yeah, and there's things that people don't realize you'll learn, like that the Walt Disney Family Museum. What I love about it is, you go there and you're like, oh God, okay, Walt Disney, so he's super successful, and there's every 100 years, someone like that. So what am I gonna learn from it? Right out the gate, it talks about how he came up with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and was really successful at it.
Is he the guy that shot Kennedy?
No. He said, okay, well, I want to get some more money for me and my crew. And they fired him. He created the character.
Yeah.
So they fired him. And so it's cool in the museum, when you take the elevator to the top floor, you hear him talking, and he says, everyone needs a good fat failure when they're young. And, here he is, had the success, stole it from him, comes up with a new, like, it was a really good thing for kids to be like, whoa, like, they don't realize that he failed before that, and then how many more times he put it all on the line, so it's pretty cool to see that, where it's like, it's not just people being some super genius or some,
So for all my failures, I'm in for a huge success.
Yeah, it's not going to work for everybody, I guess. But, most of these people where it's like, they're like, oh, I just wish I could do that. There's not just a ton of work behind it, because obviously he worked a ton, but there's a different attitude. I try to point it out to my students. It's like, it's the difference between if you take it on, if someone says, you suck, I hate your work, you can sit there and go, oh man, and not do it. Or you be like that, where it's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to move on to my next thing. Like, not let it get you down. Learning that, I think, is kind of a cool thing to point out.
And they said, Mr. Gray, take Mr. Disney's dick out of your mouth. So while you're pushing on your administrators to bring back field trips, they're going to need chaperones. So be prepared for that. I think it's fun to do.
I love going to as many as I can,
Although I do remember when one was... I want to say it was kindergarten. We went to Apple Hill, where it's like a orchard that, it's like a functioning apple farm. Yeah. And 3 classes went, and once we got there, we got our kids assigned to us, and then the teachers just disappeared. And I was a little bit pissed. Yeah. But I don't know. I like going on those trips.
I love going on all of them, especially because I know Olivia's in 4th grade, and it's precariously close to when she's gonna say,
"You're not cool."
Oh no, she almost. I mean, at the beginning of, or at the end, I guess, of 3rd grade, she already had been like, I always would go in and do the art docent and like draw there, and she was like, I don't know, like, you might embarrass me. I'm like, oh my God, you're 9, So I've made it an extra year. Because they're online and I can do it. But I wouldn't doubt, like, take advantage of it when you can go with your kids when they want you to be there,
Well, and when you go on these field trips, you're going to need an energy boost.
You are going to, yeah.
You're going to click the link in our show notes for Seattle Gummy Company and order some high-energy mocha shots.
And if there's lots of walking involved, you might need the CBD ones.
Or the...
if you're old.
Or the...
The health ones?
The vitamin ones.
The vitamin ones, yeah. You might need all of them just at different points in the trip.
There is a Seattle Gummy Company gummy made just for you. It's the high energy gummies have all the caffeine in 1 cup of coffee in 1 gummy. It works 5 times faster and costs half the price of what you would spend at a one of those chain coffee shops. Click the link in our show notes, enter the code StandUpDads15, get 15% off your order. And Mike's on his phone. What the fuck are you doing?
I taking a picture of you, so we have one of.
You can see how fat and gross I am.
No, you in action. Although I gotta
action.
take one where you're not yelling at me in the picture. That was funny.
Okay. Definitely
Your
gonna
first
edit
picture
there.
is you like wah, like yelling at me. Get off your goddamn phone. Oh, you're taking a picture of me? Oh,
So, Seattle Gummy Company. Stand-Up Dad tested and approved. Get shit
they're
done.
delicious too.
Yeah.
I like them.
Now we get to the bad dad. I actually have 1.5 stories about a bad dad.
Uh-oh.
This one, it's not really a bad dad because he did something bad, but
Yeah.
it's not really current.
Okay.
Woman discovers accused mass murderer from Bethesda is her father through DNA test.
Oh my God. Wow.
So apparently, this guy, William Bradford Bishop, is believed to have murdered his whole family 45 years ago.
Oh my God.
So she was adopted as an infant, and she made this discovery just a little while ago.
So she survived.
Yeah. So the guy was on the FBI most wanted list for murdering his mother, wife, and 3 sons in Bethesda back in March of 1976.
So how did she survive? Was she somewhere else?
Let me see. Authorities believe he murdered his wife, mother, and 3 sons, ages 14, 10, and 5, with a sledgehammer
Oh my God.
at their Bethesda home before burning the bodies in Columbia, North Carolina.
Oh my God.
As far as how she survived, hang on.
That's just shocking.
Yeah, his car was found in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. They could not track him down. They did discover that he'd purchased a gas can, sledgehammer, shovel, and pitchfork the same day. Wow, it's a cold case. So
they still never found him.
Oh, okay. So the daughter was adopted as an infant back in 1957 after her birth mother put her up for adoption. So her mom was not the one that got killed in the thing.
Wow.
She found this out in 2017 and then reached out to a cousin. Holy crap. And the girl called and
And they
cousin
never
said, I found your father. She asked, is it someone famous? She's like, yeah. He's a famous murderer. So
and they never caught him.
no, it doesn't sound like it.
Wow.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Hopefully he died out in the mountains.
Yeah, who knows? Or maybe he took himself out. Let's see. And then our bad dad article. Bradenton neighbors react to father and sons accused of selling bleach solution to cure COVID-19.
Oh my God. Jesus.
So this just came out the other day. A man and his 3 sons running what they have called a church offering a miracle cure for COVID-19 and other diseases have been indicted after authorities say the cure was toxic.
What the hell?
Selling it, and it turned out it was just bleach.
Wow.
Industrial bleach.
And people were supposed to drink it.
Not sure. So someone said, I don't know what they were doing. I thought it was holy water, but I never bought anything from them. But I would go to their prayer service. Yeah, apparently the FDA said this bleach caused numerous hospitalizations and at least 7 deaths.
Oh my God, they killed people with it.
So this came around the time where former president was talking about having people inject chemicals to fight COVID-19. Wow, this guy. So yeah, it's a whole family thing. So
Yeah.
father and kids.
And then of course they were saying like, oh, just joking. No one would follow that.
Yeah. And then, so apparently they're saying that they could be facing life in prison.
Yes, I would agree with that if you're going to sell things with bleach and tell people to drink it.
Well, I don't know. See, it didn't say how they were telling them to take it.
Yeah. Like, is it supposed to be holy water and they're putting it on them, like on their body? But I don't think it would kill people unless...
You don't think you would smell bleach, though?
You would think
You
so.
just crack it open and be like, dude, this is bleach.
This is bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so.
It's blessed bleach.
But if it killed 7 people, I would think they
they're
drank
ingesting it somehow.
Yeah.
Or injecting it or
Something crazy.
something stupid. Well, tell us what you think. Email
Yeah.
us at thestandupdads@gmail.com. Subscribe, rate us. It's how the show grows. If you want to hire someone to draw a picture of some teachers hiding from their students on a field trip, who would they reach out to?
You can reach out to me, Mike Gray, Pencil for Hire. You can go to pencilforhire.com, pencil F-O-R hire, or Pencil for Hire on Instagram.
And Mike doesn't really want to push it anymore, but I do. He has a collection of comics called Clumsy Love. It's about him before and after having kids. They are great. There is a link in the show notes. do yourself a favor, click it, order that book, and I guarantee you're going to like it, or your next podcast is free.
Yeah.
Again, Seattle Gummy Company. Click the link in the show notes, enter the code StandUpDads15, get 15% off your order. And finally, get my side project, The Gag on This podcast. That's run by my buddy Big Nick. And we interview comics from all over the country and have a great time doing it. We just recorded with Amber Pace. She's a Chico comic. And we had a great old time about that.
Wow.
She was really a cool guest. I was very happy that she was able to make it. You know, one of the topics we covered was we discovered a sex toy that does not need to exist.
Oh.
I won't go into it any further here, but give that a listen. That'll be out on Monday.
Oh, man, my friend Matt had posted, he's been, getting back into collecting comics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There is a comic that I have to get my hands on from the 70s. That's Spider-Man along with Planned Parenthood.
Nice.
So somehow Spider-Man. And it's drawn by the guy who was drawing Spider-Man then. Like, it looks like it's well drawn, but it sounds crazy. Like, it's somehow Spider-Man being in there about trying to be responsible about sex and stuff. Amazing. Like 1977 or something.
So was it like
I'd
a
never
public
seen
service announcement?
It's like, it was a book, like, looked like maybe they handed out at Planned Parenthood.
That's
so it was
awesome.
a little comic that I had no idea existed till they posted. I was like, what is this? Like, oh my God.
Hey, my spidey sense is tingling. No, that's a yeast infection.
Yeah. There's danger. Oh, that's right. Condom. And he pops it out of his belt.
I'll just weave you one with my web.
Yeah, he webs them down there. He's all, hey, here you go. He's like, where'd these condoms come from? Oh, thanks, Spider-Man. Have fun, kids.
On that note, it is wonderful to be back doing this live. We will talk to you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thing I want to say is thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.